Hello and welcome to this video. My name's Beckham. The subject here is making sure we establish a logical workflow for all of our raw editing needs. After many years demonstrating to what would be now thousands of people on the subject of image editing, I can say with some degree of confidence that many Photoshop users make the learning process a lot harder than it needs to be. What we need to do is to establish a workflow. What do we need to do first when we open an image into Adobe Camera Raw? What comes next, and then logically after that? Image editing is rather like driving a car. You don't change the way you drive because you're driving a Toyota today rather than your usual Ford. Well, image editing is very much the same. Processing raw images really isn't that much different, because the important part is the process or workflow we use, not necessarily the software. The vast majority of the image editing we do is generally pretty standard and basic stuff. It's not all about sophisticated cutouts, composites and 35 layer montages. Most of the time we're adjusting exposure, color, contrast and clarity. And I think we can break this workflow into 3 stages. The first of these is the global adjustments. This is where we tackle the editing changes that will affect the entire image, and for the most part they're going to be very similar changes from image to image. Things we can easily see that are global adjustments are things like chromatic aberration, lens profile corrections, white balance, cropping, straightening of the levels and verticals, exposure, color and contrast, along with some clarity too. All topics we cover in these videos. Now the second part of our workflow are the strategic adjustments. This is where we make changes to just one area in our photo. And I'm thinking here about the use of tools such as the spot removal tool, graduated and circular filters, adjustment brushes, and again these are topics which we cover in our videos. The third stage of our workflow are the finishing touches. Now we'd usually do these in Photoshop to complete the manipulation. It could be that we see just 1 or 2 spots and blemishes we may have missed. Maybe there's a small area within the image that needs a little bit of lightening and the odd area that may need darkening, but that's the sort of thing I'm thinking about. Now when you think all of this through, it's pretty basic and simple, and I'm not sure about you, but simple works for me every time, and I'm pretty certain that it'll work for you too. So I suppose when we're talking about a logical workflow, what I'm suggesting here is we're going to need to do much the same for most of the images we're going to manipulate. So we need a process that we naturally follow, something that becomes second nature.